Hey everyone, welcome to The Explainer. Today we're taking a really fun, fast-paced look at a theme that somehow connects a bunch of totally different disciplines. We're talking about breaking boundaries. Whether those boundaries are locked up in our own minds, way out in the vastness of outer space, across deep cultural divides, or even just hiding in pop culture and global finance, all the amazing stuff we're unpacking today is pulled straight from Weekly Nishi's Here, issue 94. It's a killer edition packed with big ideas, and I am super excited to walk you through how these boundaries are literally being pushed, challenged, and ultimately broken. Okay, let's dive into our roadmap for today. We've got 5 main stops: breaking the social matrix, exploring unseen frontiers, crossing cultural borders, pop culture and profits, and finally, join the curious minds. Let's get right into it.
But real quick, before we hit that first boundary, just think about this number for a second: 2,000 plus. By tuning into this explainer today, you're actually joining a community of over 2,000 curious minds who get these weekly insights. The brilliant links, the deep thoughts, the curated finds, they're all handpicked by Nishat Shahryar, or Nish, who literally dedicates his time to bridging the gap between tech, the creator economy, pop culture, and business. So yeah, you are in excellent company today.
All right, Section 1, breaking the social matrix. Let's talk about escaping our mental limits. So, are you stuck in the matrix? Now look, I know what you're probably thinking. No, we aren't talking about dodging bullets in a sci-fi movie here. We're actually diving into a concept explored by Dan Koh called the social matrix. It's basically this idea that society has been subtly, almost invisibly, designed to control how the population thinks. It's a massive system of unconscious conditioning. Koh argues that most people out there are just living out these pre-programmed patterns, rather than, actively thinking for themselves.
What's truly fascinating about this slide is exactly where that programming comes from. It's not some shadowy villain in a control room. It comes from 4 everyday systems. It starts right with our family upbringing, gets reinforced heavily by the public education system, amplified by the media we consume, and then finally locked into place by the tech we use every single day. According to Kay, these systems literally program individuals to just accept mediocrity. But here's the crucial takeaway. Just realizing that these 4 pillars exist and are actively shaping your behavior, that is the very first step toward breaking free. Recognizing the boundary is exactly how you escape this matrix and set yourself up for what Kay calls automatic success.
Moving right along to Section 2, exploring unseen frontiers. We're shifting gears from the mind to push some planetary boundaries.
Okay, fast forward with me to the year 2026. NASA's Artemis 2 mission is going to hit some absolute historical milestones. Picture this. On April 6, 2026, astronauts on the Orion spacecraft will fly around and capture views of the far side of the moon, a frontier that human eyes almost never get to see. And then literally just one day later, on April 7th, right after that successful lunar flyby, they're going to capture these breathtaking photos of our entire galaxy, the Milky Way, set against the total void of space. It is such an undeniable, energetic reminder of how human ingenuity is just relentlessly pushing beyond planetary limits. I mean, we are literally breaking the boundary of our own celestial neighborhood.
Let's head back down to Earth for Section 3, crossing divided cultural borders. Navigating invisible geopolitical lines.
Safely back on Earth, let's see how this builds into a truly fascinating social experiment by the group Yes Theory. They went to 2 neighboring countries that are separated by deep historical political divisions, India and Pakistan. Specifically, they spent 24 hours in Lahore, Pakistan, and then 24 hours in Amritsar, India. Now, keeping in mind this is 75 years after the partition of these 2 nations, Yes Theory wanted to test a very specific boundary: authentic human hospitality. The goal? They wanted to see if they could find overnight accommodation with complete strangers, absolutely zero advance booking, on both sides of the border. It's a really profound look at the deep cultural similarities that thrive just beneath the surface of all those well-documented political tensions. It impartially proves that our human desire to welcome people and connect often completely overrides the lines drawn on a map.
All right, Section 4, pop culture and profits. Time to cross some linguistic boundaries.
Have you ever wondered why the very first Harry Potter movie actually has 2 totally different names depending on where you happen to live? Over in the UK, it's Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone, but in the US, it's Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. Why? Well, it all happened because the US publisher Scholastic specifically requested that name change to better appeal to American audiences. It was a super calculated move to bridge a geographical divide in pop culture, breaking down a perceived linguistic barrier just to ensure maximum commercial success.
But the crucial point here is that this title change wasn't just swapping out text on a movie poster. It actually required a staggering amount of technical finesse during production. The filmmakers had to shoot specific dialogue variations. Think about it. The actors literally had to do alternate takes saying sorcerers instead of philosophers. They had to create totally unique, localized prop books for the actors to hold on camera. And yet, despite all these hyper-localized tweaks, both versions of the film are technically identical in length and feature perfectly synced edits. It's just a brilliant example of manipulating media to cross a geographic border without the audience ever even noticing the seam.
Finally, Section 5. Join the curious minds. We're breaking financial boundaries.
18. Just think back to where you were or what you were doing at age 18. Well, for investing legend Warren Buffett, 18 was the exact age he made what is widely considered the absolute best deal of his entire monumental career.
And that breakthrough was the Geico deal. It's so fascinating because, most people associate Buffett with these massive, multi-billion-dollar modern mega acquisitions, but as a fellow nerd wanting to be a smarter investor, you really have to look backward to look forward. This early Geico deal was the fundamental key to his entire investing strategy. Breaking into this particular investment at such a young age laid the unbreakable foundation for the massive financial empire he'd eventually build. He didn't wait around for permission, right? He broke through the boundary of his own youth and inexperience to execute a total masterstroke.
And this brilliantly illustrates the philosophical climax of literally everything we've talked about today. It is perfectly summarized by this incredible quote from Nike co-founder Phil Knight. Play by the rules, but be ferocious. Whether you're trying to break out of Dan Koh's social matrix, pushing human exploration to the far side of the moon, testing the limits of international hospitality, or hey, building an investment empire at 18, you definitely have to understand the systems in play, but you must attack your goals with absolute, ferocious tenacity. That is the exact mindset you need to break the boundaries in your own life.
So the only question left for you is, are you going to keep living out the programming of the social matrix, or are you going to be ferocious enough to break it? If you loved uncovering all these fascinating insights with us today, I highly encourage you to keep feeding that curiosity. You can join that growing community of over 2,000 learners and get these brilliant, hand-curated insights delivered directly to you by subscribing to the newsletter at nishihere.com. Head over to nishihere.com right now to connect, keep learning, and stay ferocious. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and I'll catch you on the next one.